further compounds any anxiety that they might have already had. Trapped. This is a big one. If a person feels trapped due to having done something having done something in their addiction that was against their value system, or if they're facing significant legal, social, physical, or financial repercussions, i.e. losing their homes, their jobs, their family, maybe they contracted a disease, these things often leave a person feeling very trapped and oftentimes thinking about suicide as being the only way out. Withdrawal. This is something that happens a lot in addiction, a person who will just go missing for days, weeks, or months at a time, and is a huge warning sign for suicide. Anger and recklessness. I'm going to talk about these two kind of in conjunction with one another. Anger and recklessness can be a means to push people away, but it can also be an effective tool to get other people to sit up and take notice. If you're seeing people more angry than they usually are, if they're acting more recklessly than they usually do, it's a cause for concern. It's a reason to get involved and intervene. Hopelessness. I saved hopelessness for last because besides actual suicidal communication, this may be the biggest warning sign and the most significant. If you're hearing the person stating that they feel hopeless or expressing themes of hopelessness, pay attention. I'd like to add one more that Samson didn't put it on there, and probably because is path warmba doesn't sound really good, but there's a B in there that should be in there, and that's burdensomeness, all right? If someone starts to tell you that they think they're a burden to others, that should be an enormous red flag. If they say, I feel like, everybody would be better off without me. I feel like such a burden. I'm a drain on people. I'm a drain on society. I'm not worth it. And they feel like a burden to others. Pay attention to that. So if you hear people specifically talking about feeling trapped, hopeless, or they're a burden to other people, and particularly if those are in conjunction with them displaying a lot of anxiety, a lot of anger or recklessness, it is time to intervene, okay? And it's likely at this point that they not only are thinking about suicide, but they actually have a plan for suicide. All right, so how do we help someone who is feeling actively suicidal? And you do so by asking directly, all right? If you get nothing out of this presentation, I hope it's this right in here, okay? Nothing else. Ask directly. I assure you that if you ask somebody directly if they're thinking about suicide, if they're thinking about killing themselves, and they had not been, it will not start to make them think that. And I know that is what people are fearful of when they ask about suicide, right? Oh, I don't want to give them any ideas, right? It doesn't happen that way.